All right. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm going to spend a couple minutes getting set up here. And then we, like I say every day, we don't have any agenda or any particular goal with these things. We're just here to hang out and keep each other company. And maybe talk a little bit about SEO or marketing or business or whatever you want to talk about. But, if once anybody jumps on, let me know if the sound and let me move my microphone up here some. The sound and the video is okay, because you never know. Getting on a little bit later today than usual, but that's okay. Sharing this around the internet. Let me know when you're on. At least say hi, if nothing else. Still not seeing it on YouTube, which is interesting. There it is. JJ asks, I don't know how to make this show up for some reason, but he asks, what in your opinion is more scalable, SEO services, or there it goes, or Facebook ads? Either. Just depends on what model you want to go with. Although if I had to gun to my head, say one or the other, I would probably lean toward Facebook ads because they're a little bit easier to measure. But obviously SEO is kind of my thing. So why didn't it? Oh, come on. Do. Hey, Chris, just joined Superstar SEO Academy again. Thanks, buddy. Glad to have you back. Make sure you jump back in the group and we'll get you in there. You said love the new content. Also, awesome. Glad it's working out for you. How important is having a fancy modern site design for getting more conversion? I don't know that a fancy modern site design, I'm not quite sure what that is, but having a site set up for conversion is definitely important. What works is a whole industry worth of conversation. You definitely need to have a site that works. I'm not a conversion rate specialist, but I don't really feel like I'm answering your question. Yes, having a site that converts is important, obviously, because you can have all the traffic in the world if nobody's buying anything. But if what you're asking is, do ugly sites convert? Sometimes. So I would ask somebody who's better at conversions than me, to be perfectly honest. I usually hand that stuff off to Jim whenever it comes up. Just still sharing this. Oh, Sharon? I don't know anyone named Sharon. Sharing this a little bit. I was using a tool called Legiit to syndicate all these out, but monthly I go through and clean up my tools, and I just don't really feel like I was getting much pop from it, and it's just as easy to paste 10 times or so. Don't know what kind of people, if we'll have many people show up today because it is Sunday. I know that's a little different right now than it usually is, but I assume some people are still getting the day off or doing religious or whatever. I don't know though. So got a few people hanging out on Instagram. What's up, Instagram? Whatever reason, the first 5 minutes or so of these, there's just nobody on. So I'm still convinced that Facebook doesn't send out notification. And for whatever reason, I don't get much attendance on YouTube, unfortunately. All right. I think I have shared this everywhere that I can. Let me check one more place that I'm not sure that I remember sharing it to. Yeah. One more. And if you got anything you want to talk about, whether it's business, whether it's SEO, whether it's life, just let me know. Jim says, howdy. Howdy, Jim. Good to see you here. I haven't talked to you in like an hour. And one more thing. It's like 75 degrees out today, but for some reason it's really cold in my apartment. So I'm wearing my Kajabi Hero hoodie instead of my usual Legiit t-shirt, although I have a Legiit t-shirt on underneath as well. And there's the howdy that we already covered from Jim. Jim, by the way, Matt, Jim is who you want to talk to about conversion. So this question that I'm showing now from Matt, the person you want to talk to here is Jim, who is right below you. Tomislav says, hello. Hello, Tomislav. Good to see you here, buddy. Hope you're doing okay. Max Evans 07 on Instagram asks if I smoke weed. I do not. I have never even smoked a regular cigarette, and I haven't had a drink since 2006. And even if I did, I wouldn't admit to committing a crime on a live stream in front of lots and lots of people, or at least potentially lots of people. Not so many so far. But no, I do not smoke weed or anything else. It's part of my life philosophy. Tomislav says, good to be here, fighting the lockdown here in Belgrade. So I didn't know you were in, hold on, and before I embarrass myself, let me make sure I get that right. Yeah, I didn't know you were in Serbia. One of the people on my team is also in Serbia. He told me about some of the things they're doing there. Last I talked to him about it, he said that people over 65 weren't allowed to go outside, and there's a 5 p.m. curfew countrywide. That may have changed since the last time we talked about it, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough for everybody, but we'll get through it. That's why I'm doing these, so we all have at least a few minutes to hang out with somebody, talk about some things that we have in common, that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing. If anybody has anything they'd like specifically to talk about, we can talk about that. And it doesn't have to be marketing, SEO, business, or anything like that. We can talk about whatever you want. Tomislav says, yeah, that's correct. Max Evans 07 on Instagram is a funny man and is trying to get me to say certain things. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to jump through a hoop for you, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. Got 3 whole people on Instagram. Man, their algorithm is crap. I think I have like 21,000 followers. I never get more than like 10 people on at a time, and like maybe 30 total over the course of an hour. Max Evans 07 says, you're cool, bro. I'm gonna follow you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, definitely have not snorted coke before. You're oddly fixated with my lack of drug habit. I don't know if it's weird or not, but a few minutes ago there was a guy, like they have like maintenance people that around the apartment complex, and they had somebody like blowing leaves and like going through the hall, not the halls, in the like in between the apartments and stuff. I was like, that's a really odd day and time to be doing that, but whatever. Let's see. Legiit Daz on Instagram says thumbs up. The Plot Racer says hi. What's up, guys or ladies? I can't tell which. Expert Web Design says, how do you get a featured snippet to display on the first page of Google? For example, the term tools for roofers, it displays the list from the website on the Google result. And then there's an additional question. Is Google just pulling it from the HTML markup? So there's a lot to this, but the easiest ones are the question ones. So what you want to do is put the exact question in an H2 and then immediately answer the question in the text right below it. For something like tools for roofers, I would think there was a certain type of markup, but to be honest, I don't know. One thing that's important to note though, if you get the featured snippet, you're not going to be able to get an organic result as well. So you're going to have to decide which of those is most important. But to get the featured snippet to display, the only one I've ever had success with was the question. And that was to, among other things, you had to be ranking well, but was to have an H2 and then immediately answer the question below it. I don't know how to go about it for something like tools for roofers though. Let me see what they have. Max says, what do you do? I own 2 businesses. I have a search engine optimization and internet marketing company where we sell services, training, software, and consulting. And then I own a digital freelance marketplace that connects freelancers and customers or business owners to get these services they need or provide the services they are good at. What am I looking for? Tools for roofers. Although as much as you've been needling me, I should have just answered with your mom, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I would try to look at what's already there, and this is for Expert Web Design, and try to emulate what worked for them, but you're also going to have to rank. So it looks like let me see. It looks like they have a number, which is, it's interesting that it shows as an unordered list in the featured snippet, but it's an ordered list on their site. But I would just do what they do. Here are the tools roofers need, and then just put a list. But I think you're going to also have to rank well for that term. And you'll notice that's eco.com. You'll notice that they are not in the organic results on the first page at all. And that's going to be the case for any featured snippet. So you're going to have to decide which is more important to you. Expert Web Design says, thanks. Thank you. Thomas Lott says, I plan on starting cold outreach, offering websites, but not sure if it's a good idea to start it now. One thing Jim and I have been noticing is that web design has actually been doing very, very well during this situation. I don't know why. I suspect it's because those are projects that people have been putting off, or maybe it makes people feel like they are just accomplishing something. Maybe it makes people, I don't know. These are all guesses, of course. Maybe it's because they have time to finally work on it. Maybe they're preparing for after the fire, for lack of a better term, but I would still go for it. What else have you got to do? No offense, but you've got the time, use it wisely, be the only voice in the room. If everybody else is not doing it, this is the time for you to do it, And, that's assuming that you don't have other things that are more pressing, but you may as well make a run at it. Been on for about 15 minutes. Man, that goes fast. So we will stay on as long as there is interaction, because that's kind of the goal of these. There's nothing for me there's nothing for sale or anything like that. Although anytime you want to give me money, that's perfectly fine. But for real, if you have anything you need, if you just need somebody to talk to, that's what we're here for. I know that may sound lame or cheesy or whatever, but it's certainly helped me. So I hope it's helped some of you as well. So I'm going to stop rambling about that now. We got a Lone Star Runner just joined on Instagram. So did Alex Andrew Vegas. Love Vegas. Planned on going to Vegas this year. Probably not going to happen now, but you know, if that's my problem, that's a good problem to have. All right. I tried coming into these with like a topic to talk about, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I found that those don't do as, like, there wasn't as much interest as when I just kind of freewheel, wing it, as when I don't have an objective. So that said, I'm running out of my ability to babble, so I don't know how much longer we're going to stay on, since there's not a lot of interaction going on at the moment. We've been on for 16 minutes. We'll give it till 20. If things haven't picked up, we'll wrap it up and we'll all go do other things. But, you know, so far we got a pretty good real Iman Shafi. Oh, that's Iman. Iman Shafi, my good friend, who is considerably younger than me, does the little heart eyes emoji. Right back at you, big guy. HJ Venter says, fake it till you make it. Yeah, I agree with that to some extent. I think that you should also know what you're doing, but where do I start? Where do you start what? Are you trying to start a business? You're trying to give me a little more information and I'll answer that for you as best as I can. Expert Web Design says, I've made a template website with good sample content. I've been selling this template and letting clients know their content isn't unique and needs to be changed. Out of 30 clients, only one has actually bothered to change their content. Is this going to be really bad for their SEO? It's all the same other than their location and company details. It's not ideal, but I see that as an opportunity personally. You can say, you know, you need to change this content, or you can have our team, our internal SEO team, do it for you. It's going to help your SEO. It's going to get more people to this awesome new site that I built for you. And yeah, I would use that as an opportunity. To answer your question though, I don't know. It's probably not great. The real Iman Shafi says, Shafi says, how has the pandemic affected your biz? Well, not a ton. Like, I've had to pivot a little bit and focus more on individual clients, but overall, I mean, not that bad. Like, we've lost a few students and that's understandable, but I'm trying to offer as many different ways to help keep them on as possible. If they cancel, I haven't been removing them or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I've offered more options for people on Legiit to get more traffic and get more notice. So it hasn't affected it that much. I mean, to say it hasn't affected it at all would be obviously fake, or obviously not true. But overall, I'm not as happy as I was 2 weeks ago, but I'm a lot better off than a lot of people I know. So that's kind of my answer to that. How's it affected yours? I would think in the niche that you're in that there might be some opportunity there. Yeah, expert web design, I would definitely flip that on them and use that as an opportunity to sell them some SEO or at least some content updating too. You know, that way you can get a little extra revenue out of them, you know. So I think that they're really giving you an opportunity when they do that. And if not, then you told them and you offered them a solution. There's not much you can do beyond that, you know. Looks like Gary Vee is live right now too. I'll put my 12 people watching versus his 4.1K any day. Expert Web Design says, what's your opinion on Bright Local for citation building and reputation management? I haven't used them for reputation management. I've used them for citation building once, I think. I mean, what they did was fine. I didn't see where it was worth as much as they charge. But I mean, they do a fine job, you know. I'm also very reluctant to ever criticize another company publicly, because if I say something that's not true, then I could be in trouble. Tomislav says he's copying you. I knew it. That scoundrel. Bet you didn't think you'd hear scoundrel today. Thanks, Chris. I find it hard to find a good UK-based content writer. I'm trying to think if I know anybody. I mean, I know there are some nuances between American English and UK English. Gosh, I don't know. I know there's some, but I can't think of any names right at the minute. Iman says the ads are much cheaper. That's good. That you can even run ads is good for you, considering some of what you've been through. In the plumbing and heating niche. I mean, is it really that different from, I mean, I know there are differences, like I said, between American English and UK English. Is it really that different for a plumbing and heating blog or site that you need someone that's specifically in the UK? Like, I know aren't the differences just like the way certain things are spelled and things like that? If I'm wrong, I'm perfectly believe that. But Paul says, hey, Chris, thanks for going live. Hey, Paul, thanks for showing up. It's always great to see some more people. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay. What I would do then, I'll grab you the link here, jump into the Legiit Facebook group and just ask in there. I'm sure there's somebody. I know there's somebody. I just can't think who it is at the moment. I'll drop the link to that right now. Ask in there, and I'm sure somebody will be able to help you out. Paul says, just have a question about long tail searches. I work on a wood flooring site in the UK, and it gives the URL, with about 2,000 products. Looks like you're still typing, so I'll wait for the rest of your question. Expert Web Design says, cheers. Cheers to you as well. Cheers is actually a good example of the differences between US English and UK English. My friend Craig Griffiths, who I'm going to try to get to come on one of these one of these live streams soon. He's just real hard to pin down on things, but he's from the UK, and we joke a lot when he says he's going on holiday. I say, you mean you're going on vacation, not holiday? And then he gives me crap about stuff the same way. And he told me he was taking a Spanish lesson recently. I was like, you should take an American lesson instead. And then he's like, vacation. So it's kind of a running gag of ours. Let's see if Paul finished his question yet. Just wondering why for some products we come up high or even number one with a rich snippet, yet for other products where we have the exact same setup and maybe even more content, we come bottom of page one. Is there anything we can do to boost this, and what influences the rich snippets? Well, to answer the overall question, sure, there's things you can do to boost it. And the reason is that it may be a more competitive term, or your competition may be a little stronger. And those are kind of the main things. I don't know a ton about rich snippets, though, especially for e-com. I don't really know how that works. I would imagine it's schema related, and that would be, yeah, I would think that you probably just need to either optimize that page a little better, Paul, or that you need to maybe hit it with a link or two. As far as the rich snippets, I would think it's schema, but I don't know enough about it. So you may want to ask directly in the group about that, but I don't know much about rich snippets. Expert Web Design says, I've done an hour's consultancy with you a few months ago. It was very helpful. Oh, thank you. I wish I knew who, I hope you don't take it the wrong way. I wish I knew who you were, but I'm glad it was helpful. And I don't know who from your YouTube name, who the person's name is. So whoever you are, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk, and I hope it was helpful for you. I'm glad it was helpful for you. Paul says, okay, thanks. Tomislav says, I'm also unsure about the web design pricing. I plan on having starting price at around 1,500 USD for a 10-page website. Everything is done, on-page content, etc. What do you think? That's probably about right. Maybe, I mean, depending on the complexity of the site, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, probably a little more. But that's probably about right. I would talk to Jim about that too. And again, it's going to depend on each individual, but that's pretty reasonable, honestly, for a 10-page site. Paul says it just seems random sometimes how Google gives the position. Yeah, it does. Expert Web Design says Kieran. Oh, all right, good. You tag my review daily on Facebook. I wouldn't say daily, but yeah, pretty much. I'll stop doing that if that's annoying. I just I like to give that credibility to it, you know? John. Tomislav says, sweet, thanks. Thank you, Tomislav. It's not annoying. Okay, good. That's the last thing I want to ever do. Well, maybe not the last thing, but one of the last things I ever want to do. That reminds me, I need to share my posts for the day. Paul says, hope you're keeping sane with lockdown there in the US. Technically, where I am is not locked down. Although it may as well be. Like, we're a tourist town, and they closed all the hotels and accommodations and basically things that make it nice to live here, and made all the tourists go home. So that's closed. You can't eat in restaurants. You have to do dine out, or takeaway or delivery. And you can't be in groups of 3 people or more. But so technically you're locked down, but like a lot of businesses are still running, even though, most of them are working remotely and things like that. The beach is still open. Matter of fact, I'm seeing a picture from the beach right now that looks like it has entirely too many people there for what we're doing right now. So, but thank you. I appreciate the concern, and hope it gets better for everyone very, very soon. All right, we've been here for 29 minutes. Anybody have anything else we want to talk about? Still a decent amount of folks checking us out, or checking me out, hanging out. I don't know what's appropriate. So, like I said, I'll try to get some. I don't want to make this into a big production, but I'll try to get Craig or somebody to come on sometime this week, however you want to look at it, soon, and take some of the burden of babbling off of me. So Jim says that's low for a full package style offer. You should be charging more. I assume you're talking to Tomislav about web design pricing. So yeah, there you go, Tomislav. Jim says that you should charge more than that. I kind of thought that was on the low end, because that's $150 a page, and you figure if each page takes you an hour, which is probably generous, that's It's a lot of labor. Tim says he just got here. Well, welcome to the party, Tim. We can officially get it kicked off now. Always good to see you here, buddy. I've thought about like scheduling these at a certain same time every day, but my day varies from day to day with what's going on. And oddly enough, I find that scheduled ones just do not get the same attendance that random ones do. I don't know what's up with that, but I mean, I guess I do to an extent. Like, I've never attended a live stream that was scheduled. I've always just seen it like a notification and just jumped on. Thomas Lott says, thanks, Jim. On behalf of Jim, I say no, thank you. Few people still on Instagram, so that's nice. I wish there was a way to do Instagram from your desktop too. I did find one app, but it was really kooky, for lack of a better term, and it was expensive. It was like $47 a month, and I don't get enough interaction from Instagram to make that worthwhile. So, and I'm not sure that it was Instagram approved, so I don't want to risk losing the zero traffic I get from Instagram over it. All right. Anybody have anything they want to cover? Anything they want to talk about? Doesn't have to be SEO or business or marketing or anything cool. Tim says, as a former tech support dude, any suggestions on how to make something sound simple without sounding stupid? The marketing conference I was at 2 weeks ago, they didn't know what a customer was in a group of marketers. They didn't know what a customer was? How do you not know what a customer is? I mean, I'll try to answer the question. I don't know how you help somebody that doesn't know what a customer is, but what worked well for me was analogies. I'm trying to think of a good one. For one time, okay, for example, no, that's not really a good example. It's been so long since I did that, but I don't know. I can't think of a good one. I'm sorry, you put me on the spot, but analogies work really well, putting it in terms that people can understand versus what is actually going on. That said, sometimes complex things can only be made so simple. And good Lord, if they don't know what a customer is, it just it just hurts how stupid people can be. About 70% didn't understand. Yeah, I mean, that's partly just a fact of life. You do have to break it down and assume that you're talking to a child. And I don't mean that to be insulting to anybody, but it's true, you know? Like when I rate like headlines, I try to make that as simple as possible. So for example, if I was to ask him to like write a headline about SEO, I wouldn't talk about Google ranking. I would just talk about getting visibility on the internet or making a blog that gets some people to see it. Like, it really has to be that simple. If you even use terms like traffic or search engine or any SEO or any of that stuff, you're going to lose people. So it's got to be as broad as possible. And as nerds that we are, it's really hard to do that because, you know, we know technical things and we know what they mean. So we talk in the way it is, but you really have to break it down like you're talking to, I want to say, a 7 or 8 year old. I try to dumb it down, but sometimes people just seem to be very dumb. Yeah, like I say, I mean, some people just aren't going to have it in them to understand certain things. And if they don't, then they're probably not a good prospect to begin with. But yeah, you just have to break it down into super simple terms. So instead of, I can get you on the first page of Google, you can be like, what I can start doing is getting your website in front of people that will want to buy what you sell using the internet. Ooh, a bug. Can tell we're live. It was from my business tagline, get more customers from Google. They got stumped on customer. Oh boy. Get more customers from Google. I would say I can get you, I don't know how you get past people that don't know what customer means, but say it, maybe change it to try sales, more sales from the internet, something like that. That's about as far down as you can break that. Like I wouldn't have thought customer would be a problem, but I can see where Google would be a problem. So I would use internet instead of that, or online. Get you more sales online. Tell them customer equals money. Going to try customers equal money, get more of both, contact him today. That might work. That's way more dumbed down. I'm trying to find like polite ways to say things, but yeah, that's way more dumbed down, and that might work. I would have thought Google was where you were losing people, though, not customer. That's special. All right, guys, we will go another 3.5 minutes, and then I got to go do some other things. But this is always a blast. I almost didn't do one today, but I want to be consistent. Consistency is one of the keys to success. My Kung Fu teacher used to say that the 3 keys were show up, give 100%, and don't quit. And I think that showing up is kind of the same thing as consistency. I'm glad I'm not the only one frustrated by this. Yeah, I mean, it's part of, it's part of show business, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's on us to figure out ways to make it better. Like, you're not going to make people smarter. Like, that's just not going to happen. I know it's frustrating, but it is what it is. Is that an Ibanez in the back? I have no idea. I doubt it. I get asked about that almost every time. Guitars are good for views, apparently. I got that as a teenager when I had about 5 minutes where I wanted to learn how to play guitar, and never did. So lost my train of thought. So yeah, I've just kind of had it ever since, and I put it in the background because obviously it draws questions. In theory, I thought it would make me look cool when girls come over, but that really hasn't been the case. So that's kind of what it is. I have no idea if it works, what kind it is, or anything like that, but I like how it looks. All right, we got about 2 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. Expert Web Design, or Kieran, says he's got to go. Thanks for today. Thank you, Kieran. Thomas Lab says, that's cool. I got a bass. Awesome. Yeah, I really do. I probably never will, but I do like the appeal of learning how to play, but I just never have, whether it's guitar or something else. I did take voice lessons for a while, although it was business motivated, but the voice coach, teacher, instructor, whatever the right term is, said that he thought that I should learn to sing because he said I had a good voice for it. I don't really know what that means, but it doesn't hold that appeal to me. Because even just talking like this really makes my voice tired. So I can't imagine that. I remember on the old Highlander TV show, Roger Daltrey from The Who was a recurring character. And there's one episode where his voice is all raspy and screwed up. And I've read the trivia on it because I'm super cool. And it turns out it's because he had done a concert the night before and completely blown out his voice. And that's why it sounded raspy on that particular episode. So that's your trivia today. Thomas Lass says I started with violin and ended up playing bass guitar. Interesting. My grandfather played the violin a little bit. Tim says, a business group leader tagged me in a post suggesting government payouts would solve the coronavirus issue from a business standpoint. Come up with 700 words on what these people could do themselves to solve their business problems. Should I tell this lady that? It's not the easy answer. It's a delicate situation. I would say that they tagged you personally asking this. That's definitely an opportunity. I would, 700 words is a lot. I would say that yes, that will probably help provide some small amount of relief. But here are 7 bullet points on however many on other steps that businesses can do to help recover from it and help the country and world recover from it. And then say, if you want to talk more about in depth about those, shoot me a message, give me a call, send me an email, whatever it is. But that's what I would do. I wouldn't, 700 words, you're going to lose her. But I would just come up with a handful of bullet points on things that businesses can do in addition to the government stimulus. That way, if you go with 700 words, you're going to run into the problem you had before. You're going to lose people because you're being too smart. So you want to break it down into little bite-sized pieces that people can digest. And if they want a bigger meal, then they can come to you and get it. So I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, I got to run. Thanks for hanging out. We'll do this again tomorrow, most likely. And like I say, no agenda, no goal, nothing like that. Tim says they're sitting on their butts. I'm still working away. Good man. Good for you. But yeah, we'll do this again tomorrow. Like I said, no agenda, no goal, not trying to sell anything, just trying to give us all a little bit of relief and a little bit of community that we can't have right now. So that's it for today. Figure out what you want in life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.